Competition. It is something that drives us as human beings and can bring out the good in us or sometimes the ugly. However, today here on FTD Facts, we are talking about two countries that have been known to have competition for each other for many years. While both of these countries have contributed to the world in their own way and have stood out great by following their own heart. And today we are looking at the two great countries known as Russia and the United States of America. Hey everybody, what's going on? Dave Walpole here, and welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. Now, for a lot of you guys who are coming here for the first time, you're probably looking at that title going, wait a minute, United States is going to be better, or wait a minute, Russia's going to be better. Well, here is our episodes where we definitely like to compare two different countries together. We look at the statistics, but here for us, we're not necessarily saying which country is better. It's really for you guys. And before we get into it, this video is brought to you by Grammarly.com. These guys are great at making your grammar online better, and it's a free program. Now, also before I get in this episode, I want to know, what do you think is the best country before we get into the facts? Come on, let me know. What do you think? I mean, heck, you don't even have to say Russia or the United States. You can say your own country if you really want to. But either way, let's take a look at what these two countries are, what they stand for, and what is just amazing about them. And the first thing we got to do, of course, is talk about population and size, because these two countries are just boom, they're big. So Russia has a population of at least 144,463,400 people. And that is a population estimate without Crimea, sorry. However, with its population, it stands at 9th in the world with a population density of 1.4 people per kilometer square. Now, the reason its population density is so low is because it has a land size of 17,075,200 square kilometers, being the first largest country in the entire world. Now, as for the United States, it's not quite as big when it comes to its land size, but when it comes to its people, they got a lot of them. Because its population estimate puts it at 325,365,180 people, ranking it third in the world when it comes to population size. Now, its population density is at 90.6 kilometers square, and the reason for that is that these people are stretched across a land size of 3,796,720 miles square. Or to put it in kilometers so you can compare it to Russia, it comes in at 9,833,520 kilometers square, making it about third or fourth in the world. But let's talk about money, because these two countries do have a lot of it. When it comes to nominal GDP for Russia, it comes in at $1.469 trillion, ranking 11th in the world, with a per capita of $10,248, which makes it pretty low, ranking it at 72 in the world. However, USA's nominal GDP is $18.558 trillion, ranking it number one in the world when it comes to GDP, but however, it ranks 7th in the world with a nominal GDP per capita of $57,467. And with that money, we should look at the type of money that these two countries use. So the United States uses the famous US dollar. As for the Russian, they use the Russian rubles. Now, if you were to convert the two, $1 US equals 58.27 Russian rubles. And to break this down even further, let's take a look at the cost of living within the countries, because for the United States, it's a lot more expensive to live there than it is in Russia. For example, if you moved from Russia to the United States, food would be 87% higher, housing would be 95% higher, however, clothes would be 19% cheaper if you moved to the United States than they would be in Russia. But jumping back to transportation, it is 74% higher, personal care is 109% higher, and entertainment comes in at 46% higher. In total, if you moved from Russia to the United States, you would pay 73% more than you would living in Russia. And to give you an idea, if you had lunch in Russia, an average lunch meal would cost 406 rubles, and housing for a 900 square feet in a normal area would be approximately 46,861 rubles a month. But in America, that's a little bit different. It's approximately $14 for a lunch if you go out. And housing for a similar 900 square feet and living in a normal area would be about $1,549 a month. Now, for here on FTD Facts, we like to use expatasan.com to get these figures, but keep in mind they're not 100% because, well, for example, in every country, there are different places that are more expensive to live than other places that are throughout the country. For example, in Russia, the top 5 most expensive places to live in no particular order are Yuzhno-Sakhalinsk, Moscow, St. Petersburg, Vladivostok, and Kazan. However, in the United States, the most expensive places to live in no particular order are San Francisco, New York, Boston, Oakland, and of course, San Jose. And speaking about money, guys, we should probably look at the debt of these countries because both countries have a lot of national debt. In Russia, the national debt comes in at 11,136,696,267,000 rubles. But to give you an idea of how much that is in US dollars, it comes in at 197,318,541,000 US dollars. And for Russia's debt per citizen, it equals about 76,122 rubles. And for the interest it pays a year, it is roughly 740,193,557,000 rubles. Now, the United States national debt is sitting at 20,450,061,732,000 dollars, with approximately $63,049 per citizen owing for debt. And its interest rate a year equals $271,891,106,000. Now, to give you guys a good visual representation, if you were to take all the debt and put it into single dollar bills and stack them on top of each other from the surface of the Earth, Russia's debt would equal 0.5 trips to the moon, where the United States debt would equal 5.81 trips to the moon. However, let's take a look at military power. Now remember, personnel does not always mean that their military is better. In Russia, they have a manpower of roughly 70 million people, with approximately 47 million fit for service. Its active personnel sits at 798,527 people, while they also have approximately 2,572,500 people in reserve units. But as for the United States, its manpower sits at 145,215,000, with approximately 125,025,000 people fit for service. Its active personnel sits at 1,373,650, with approximately 990,025 people in reserve units. The total aircraft in the United States equals approximately 13,760, with Russia equaling approximately 3,790. And although aircraft might be outnumbered by the United States when it comes to Russia, Russia definitely has more tanks. Because in the United States, they have approximately 5,844 tanks, where Russia has 20,216 tanks. So we've talked about money, we've talked about military, we've talked about population and land size. Now let's talk about healthcare, because the healthcare in these two countries are vastly different from one and another. In the United States, healthcare is majorly private sectors, being approximately 58%, with 21% being non-profit, while the other 21% being government profit. Now, for employees, healthcare is sometimes provided depending on certain employment packages and benefits that you get from a certain job. Now, there are also socialist healthcare plans for the elderly and the young, and in 2007 it was reported that 42 million Americans do not have healthcare insurance, and 62% of bankruptcies are caused from high healthcare costs. Now, in Russia, it's majorly different because their healthcare is provided by the state. And this is a federal compulsory medical insurance fund because their constitution states that every citizen gets free healthcare since 1996. And how the funds are generated is through medical insurance. And this insurance is generally financed by contributions from employers, where roughly an employer will pay about 2 to 3% of your salary into social taxes. Overall, Russia spends about 5.9% of its GDP to healthcare funds. And when it comes to beds per thousand, the United States has roughly 2.8 beds per thousand people, while Russia has 8.5. And the life expectancy in the United States equals about 76.3 years, where in Russia it equals 65.9. Now let's take a look at education, and for this what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into US dollars to see how each countries compare with each other. Now according to data from the OECD, education spending in the United States comes in at $29,328 per student, with math performance skills coming in at 474, reading performances coming in at 487, and science performance scores coming in at 500. In Russia, they spend approximately $8,808 US dollars per student, with math scores being 497, reading performance scores coming in at 481, and science performance scores coming in at 489. But either way, that is us just taking a small look at the two powerful countries known as Russia and the United States. And besides their numbers, when you break down their culture, it is great how two countries have their own unique traditions and values. And of course, that is something that we may look at in another video. But my name is Dave Walpole, guys, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in and learning about other cultures from all around the world. Now, I gotta ask you guys the question, which country do you think is better? Let me know down there in the comment section below. Also to remind you guys, this video has been brought to you by Grammarly.com. These guys are an amazing sponsor that really helps improve your grammar. It's a free program. The link for that is going to be down there in the description box below, so feel free to check them out. On top of that, guys, at the end of this video, you guys might want to check out some of our other stuff that we do, because we don't just compare countries, we also talk about countries and look at them individually and find out what's great about them. So we'll put those at the end of this video as well, or down there in the description box. But these are the two countries of Russia and the United States, both powerful players in the world's economy and military, both allies to many countries from around the world, and both have their own unique story that may have created misunderstanding within the past. However, the great people of these countries cannot be defined by what their governments do, as each individual within the country of Russia and the United States aims for a better and brighter future. And perhaps if we take a moment to look at each country and find out what is great about each other's cultures, we may find out that we are actually all the same. Well, you've reached another end to FTD Facts. I hope you guys liked this video. Like I said, if you guys like this video, I've thrown in a couple extra ones that you guys might really enjoy. Also, keep an eye out for our other videos of which country is better, where we compare two different countries from around the world and learning what's great about them. But other than that, hit the subscribe button and come check us out every single day, because we always got something new for you. And until next time, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.